Welcome back to the Double Feature, the series where I play two random games in a single video. There is literally no criteria for any of the games that I feature in the series. I just literally have to cover two games in a single video. That's about it. They can be free games, they can be paid commercial products, it really doesn't matter. I guess the only real criteria I have for this series is that the games need to be so incredibly simple that there is just no point to doing a single separate video on both games. So instead of doing two videos on two different games, how about we just merge them together into one single video? These kinds of videos are admittedly a lot easier to do than randomizer videos, because with my randomizer series, all of the games have to be free, but for the double feature series, it doesn't matter. And all the games I'm gonna be covering in this video are technically free? I mean, they were definitely free to just stare at if you were going to an arcade place back in the mid-80s. Indeed, this is going to be another retro-themed double feature today. We're going to be covering some more arcade games, except the first game is technically not an arcade game, but was ported to arcades later on. But regardless, the two games that we're going to be covering in this video are Mach Rider and Juno First. And also, the theme of this particular video, much like one of the previous double features that I did a few months ago, is going to be obscure arcade games developed by well-renowned AAA companies. At least one of those companies used to be well-renowned until they started acting like assholes to both their consumers and their employees, but we'll get to that later. So the first game we're gonna focus on here is Mach Rider. So Mach Rider was originally an NES game released in 1985 by Nintendo. It was a launch title for the NES in North America, not in Japan though, I don't think. It's a vehicular combat game where you play as the titular Mach Rider. Mach Rider is a dude who rides a motorbike equipped with a machine gun, and his objective is to ward off an invasion of Earth by a group of aliens known as Quad Runners. Much like Mach Rider, the Quad Runners also use vehicles to get from place to place, in this case, ATVs, and actually, the Quad Runners have already destroyed most of the Earth by the time Mach Rider comes in to save them, so good timing on that one, Mach Rider. You decide to save the world when already 90% of it has been destroyed. The game takes place in the year 2112, which, as far as I know, is not a reference to the Rush album of the same name. Now, Mach Rider was not one of Nintendo's more successful IPs. I don't think most people are even aware that this game exists, or that this was an actual game that Nintendo made. And while Mach Rider never received a sequel of any sort, the Mach Rider character has been featured in numerous Super Smash Bros. Games over the years. Mach Rider was featured as a collectible trophy in Super Smash Bros. Melee. And on top of that, a lot of the music from Mach Rider was given the remix medley treatment specifically for Melee. This particular medley would also be reused in subsequent Smash Bros. Games, including Brawl, Smash for Wii U and 3DS, and Ultimate. In addition to that, the Mach Rider character was also brought back in Brawl in the form of a collectible sticker. He was also brought back in Smash for Wii U and 3DS, although I'm not sure in which form. I don't know if he was a collectible trophy or an assist trophy or whatever. And most recently, Mach Rider was brought back in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in the form of a collectible spirit. Mach Rider has also appeared in some of my older videos as well. You might remember one particular series that I did way back in the day called Super Smash Bros. Crusade. Super Smash Bros. Crusade was a fan-made Smash Bros. Game that I did a full playthrough of from 2013 to 2015, and I dedicated an entire episode of that playthrough, specifically episode 5, to Mach Rider, because if you ever watched that playthrough of mine, you may recall that Mach Rider was included as a playable character in that game. He was also brought back as a playable character in the massive 0.9 update for Crusade. Another interesting thing about Mach Rider is that it did not originally begin as a video game. Mach Rider was initially created by Nintendo all the way back in 1972, and Mach Rider's original incarnation was in the form of a hot rod toy. This would have been a while before Nintendo entered the video game industry. This would have been back when they were still creating toys, but Mach Rider was originally released as a children's toy. It had a little ramp that you can make Mach Rider jump off of, and there was this little, like, stick shift that you could rev up Mach Rider with, and then you could release it and just send Mach Rider on his way, pretty much. There's not much information known about the Mach Rider toy, and it's a pretty obscure toy as well, because I think it was only ever released in Japan. I could be wrong about that though, and if I am wrong about that, please correct me. I also have no idea if it sold very well or not, because I wasn't able to find any sales figures for the toy either. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's probably a very rare toy, and if I wanted to buy one for myself in modern times, I'd probably have to dish out at least a couple $1,000s, I would imagine, but it is very interesting how a very obscure toy that Nintendo made all the way back in the 70s was later adapted into a video game with arguably more mature themes, because the original Mach Rider toy wasn't even a motorbike, it was like a straight up hot rod of sorts, or like a race car almost. But then when Nintendo decided to turn him into a video game, they gave him a motorbike instead, and they also gave him a machine gun to kill people with. So, that's a thing, I guess. Now, why exactly am I playing the arcade version of Mach Rider? Well, it mostly has to do with the fact that you pretty much can't find a ROM of the NES version of Mach Rider online anymore, due to the fact that Nintendo has been starting to crack down very heavily on ROM distribution sites. They pretty much don't want anyone distributing ROMs of any of their games nowadays, so it's become increasingly difficult to find NES ROMs on all of those ROM distribution sites that used to host them, and I figured that I would probably have a much easier time trying to find the arcade version, and lo and behold, I did manage to find a ROM of the arcade port. The arcade port, which is also known as Versus Mach Rider, does have some differences from its NES counterpart. For instance, you have to insert coins in order to play the game, because this would have been released as an arcade cabinet, and also they added another feature into the arcade version that I'm not really sure why they added, because it's kind of pointless and doesn't really affect the game in any way, shape, or form, but I'll explain that in just a minute. For now, though, I want to get started on actually playing the game here, so we are going to insert a coin, and I am playing this on the MAME emulator, by the way, so I'm actually using my keyboard to do this. Yeah, so this is Mach Rider right here, looking like, I don't know, some sort of cross between Spider-Man and some generic Mad Max character? I have no freaking idea. But yeah, he's holding a pistol in his right hand, which is also blue, apparently. Now, I do need to mention that Mach Rider is a fairly difficult game, so I think what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to give myself a few more credits. I'm probably going to give myself only 10, because I think that's about as much as I'll need. If you get a game over, it'll ask you to insert another credit, and if you do insert another credit, you can actually continue playing the game. So, if you're playing this on an emulator, you can basically cheat the system by continuously adding more credits into the machine to effectively give yourself infinite continues. So we're going to push button 1 to begin here. In the year 2112, the Earth has been invaded by evil forces. Journey to neighboring sectors, destroying invaders. Push A or B to start. So you'll notice that it gives you the option to select between 2 different tracks at the beginning of the game. Also, you are Mach Rider. Yeah, and if you don't press anything for a short period of time, it'll just automatically select the A track for you. So you have 2 different tracks that you can select from, and I'm gonna have to start explaining stuff very quickly. Okay, that guy just like blew up. So, yeah. You get 2 different tracks to select from at the very beginning of the game, or at the very beginning of each individual sector. So the way that this game works is that all of the levels are divided into 10 different sectors, each consisting of 2 tracks each. Now, you don't get to ride on both tracks, you have to select one when you're prompted to. You can select between either the A track or the B track. So that's one thing that's very interesting about this game. The level progression is non-linear, which for a game that came out in 1985 is actually kind of impressive, I'm not gonna lie. So, there's a total of about 40 tracks in this game that are divided into 20 sectors each. So, you'll notice that we only play 10 sectors in the first playthrough, but once we complete those sectors, there's a second playthrough that begins, which will allow us to play the other 20 tracks, or it'll open up the other 20 tracks to us. So, we're still continuing on to the A tracks here, because I'm getting distracted and talking about how exactly this game works here. So, these are the quad runners. This game does play very similar to Sega's Hang On, which would have also been released the exact same year as this, but it plays in a very similar manner as Hang On, because you're on a motorbike, you have to perform all these really tight turns at super high speeds. I don't know why that guy just, like, blew up randomly, but yeah, every time Mach Rider dies, he literally disintegrates. Like, he gets, like, blown up into a million tiny pieces. What's kind of interesting, though, is that he does reform if you still have lives remaining, so I don't know if Mach Rider is supposed to be, like, some kind of cyborg or something. Also, his palette color changes when you end up losing all your lives and you're taken to the credit screen. Oh my god, dude, I am like sucking so badly right now. Yeah, but you also have a gear shifting mechanic, so this is a little bit, well, I mean, this is actually kind of similar to Pole Position. Okay, can I please stop getting like blown up by freaking exploding quad runners? Please and thank you. Holy crap, I'm trying to explain this as best as I can, but I'm like getting distracted by so many things right now. So yeah, it plays very similar to Hang On, because if I remember correctly, I think Hang On had a mechanic where you could shift between two different gears, like low or high, and this was also a mechanic that Pole Position had as well. However, in Mach Rider, you have 4 different gears that you can shift to, and if you want to get higher speeds, well, you have to shift to the higher gears, except if you're going to gear 4 from a standstill, you're pretty much not going to accelerate at all. So what you gotta do is that you have to accelerate to the top speed in gear 1 first, then shift to gear 2, then 3, and then 4. Search for survivors in the city ahead. I'm gonna go to the B track because it looks absolutely stupid, so let's do that instead. You are Mach Rider. I know, you don't have to keep reminding me, I know exactly who I am. 26 kilometers to go, so it's also telling you how far away you are from the end of the sector as well. Gives you a nice little indication. So, there are obstacles on the track that you need to avoid, including the quad runners apparently, because they keep blowing up my ass somehow. That doesn't happen all the time, just so you know. The quad runners do not always explode right in your face when you make contact with them. They only do that on certain occasions, and I'm not entirely sure how it works exactly. Yeah, so, as I was saying though, there are some obstacles on the road. Okay, seriously, dude? What in the world is going on? Okay, so there's obstacles on the road, like these rocks right here, as you can see. There was also some weird glowing black orbs that were also, like, racing across the track in the other direction, as you saw just a couple seconds ago. So, these obstacles you have to avoid at all costs, because if you collide with them at high speeds, it will kill Mach Rider. Now, what's interesting, though, is that as you can see, you can also bump into the quad runners, and what's interesting is that you can bump the quad runners into obstacles in order to blow them up immediately. Alternatively, you could shoot them with your machine gun, which will also kill them after a few hits, but if you want to get bonus points, you can bump them into objects on the road in order to kill them instantly. That'll cause them to blow up, and I think you can get more points that way, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know for sure, but it is definitely something you can do. And some of the quad runners move at the exact same speed as you do, so the only way to kill them is to basically bump them into an object and get them out of the way. Okay, for real, like... This was not happening this often when I was playing this off screen. What is going on, dude? Freaking die, for goodness sakes. You'll also notice that there's different colors of quad runners. So, there's 5 different types of quad runners in this game. There's pink quad runners, which are the easiest to kill, because they can usually be taken out in just one hit. Okay, what is even going on anymore? But yeah, the pink quad runners can be taken out in one hit. Blue quad runners, I don't remember how many hits it takes to take those guys out, but I'm thinking probably 2 or 3. Then there's green quad runners, and then there's red quad runners, and then finally gray quad runners, which I think are the most difficult to take out, because I think the gray ones take like 10 hits to kill, or something along the lines of that. I'm not really sure. But regardless, it is very difficult to kill the gray quad runners. You'll also notice that the palette color of the road also changes from time to time, and that actually indicates what type of terrain you are currently racing on. So, if the entire track suddenly turns blue, and the surrounding area changes to white, that basically means you're racing on ice. The road becomes very slippery, and you just kinda slip and slide all over the place, which makes it very difficult to avoid the barrels on the side of the track. Keep in mind, though, that those blue barrels that you see on the side of the track that you can collide with, you can destroy them by simply shooting at them. You need to make sure not to waste all of your ammunition, though, because you will notice that you do have an ammo counter at the top of the screen. That's what the shot counter is. And also here are the gray freaking quad runners over here. Most difficult ones to kill. Oh god! Okay, well, that was kind of my fault. I kind of just ran right into that, that rock right there. Yeah, and also the colors of the orbs on the track will also change in between levels. Oh my god, dude, I am doing, like, so freaking horrible right now. Yeah, the orbs will also change color depending on the level, but I don't think that affects the actual behavior of the orbs. The orbs are basically just another high-speed obstacle that you have to avoid, and I think the orbs do move around on their own, if I'm not mistaken. Also, I'm starting to think that I may actually need more than 10 credits for this, because holy crap, I am, like, sucking tremendously at this right now. There we go, I'm trying to kill everyone right here. Trying to kill everyone to the best of my abilities, but holy crap, that is really not working out too well right now. Yeah, so the score also gets reset every time you have to use a continue, but as you can see, if you just keep inserting more credits, you can continue playing the game. So this is also something I want to point out here. So you see that as you continue to clear levels, there's this portrait of a woman that gets revealed to you more and more. And once you complete all 10 sectors of the game, or at least 10 sectors in one single playthrough, then her entire portrait will be revealed. And for the record, no, she is not naked, she is wearing clothes. She is definitely scantily clad, though, because her outfit is definitely, let's just say, revealing. But remember at the beginning of the video when I said that there was a feature in this game they added that was ultimately kind of pointless? Well, that's the feature I was talking about. The fact that she was introduced in the game is a complete mystery to me, because there really is no reason for her to be in the game, because she does literally nothing. It was, I think it was more or less something that Nintendo added into the game to keep the male players entertained, or like, you know, to keep them motivated, to give them, like, some form of motivation to continue playing the game. You know, the fact that this game is so, like, freaking balls-to-the-wall difficult, you know, your ultimate reward for beating this incredibly difficult game is that you get to see a beautiful woman holding a dagger for some reason. That's also never explained. And not only that, but the game never explains who exactly this woman is. I'm assuming she's a character from Mach Rider, but you don't ever see her in the game itself, aside from, you know, the portrait that gets revealed of her. She doesn't have a name in the game, as far as I know. She's just a woman, you know, some sort of warrior or survivor in this universe, this, like, post-apocalyptic Earth where there's aliens on ATVs who just, like, killed everyone in existence. I don't freaking know, man. This game is just so weird. I also don't know why the road constantly flashes as well. I don't know if this is meant to be like a racing line of some sort. I don't even know what's going on, really. But that level's complete. Yeah, you may have noticed that some of the graphics are broken, but I think that's just a problem with the MAME emulator. I don't think that's actually an issue with the game itself. Yeah, so the emulation here is not really all that perfect. But we're gonna go to this 8th sector now. Yeah, so we have ice physics right here. So it is very dangerous to be in the 4th gear because you just kind of slip and slide all over the place. Yeah, and also, the puddles make you slip and slide all over the place, too. Yeah, so, I mean, other than that, guys, that's pretty much all there is to this game. You're just trying to survive for as long as possible, and you don't even really need to kill any of the quad runners either. The game does not require you to kill any of the enemies in this game. You can just, like, race right past them if you want to. Your only real objective here is to try and get to the end of the level, and it'll tell you how far away you are from the end as well. Because you'll notice that I only have 10 kilometers left to go, but of course you have to avoid all of the other obstacles in your way, like these freaking gray quad runners. There we go. Hit him right into a barrel, just like that. Look at this. Watch this. Oh, come on here. Dang it! It's very difficult to try and get them around the corner. Oh my god, we both blew up at the same time. Alright, well, I don't see how that works exactly. Yeah, I got these little things on the ground that kind of look like spike strips. What even was that? He just came up from, like, the back of me and just blew me up. What even is that malarkey baloney crap? Oh, whatever, man. Whatever. There we go. I'm trying to breeze past this at high speeds because I just want to try and get this done as quick as I possibly can. My goodness, dude. This is just absurd. I think I want to go to the B track, actually. Yeah, because this is the track that has this, like, double loop, almost. I want to go to this, yeah, this track right here. This is a fairly long track as well, 21 kilometers. Yeah, and also the time of day sometimes changes too. Yeah, I just got killed by a blue orb right there. Don't know how I could have timed that. Also, what is kind of weird is that the game's hit detection seems to be very wonky at times. Because I've had some instances where I'm pretty sure I should have been killed by an object that I crashed into, but I didn't end up getting killed by the object for one reason or another. I'm not entirely sure. So, we're just gonna keep on carrying... Oh my god, dude. The orbs, man. The freaking orbs are the bane of my existence, especially since they do in fact move on their own. If you do end up getting killed by one, and all the others follow along, you will notice that they do actually move on their own. Thankfully, you can kill them, it's just that I'm too much of an idiot to try and actually shoot them. Because everything usually dies in this game in one hit, or at least some of the obstacles do. You know, not the quad runners themselves, but usually some of the other, like, obstacles on the track, like the little orbs, for instance. But, yeah, as you can see, you can just kind of race along with them. I mean... They're really just a nuisance. Like, you know, they'll try to bump you around and whatnot, but I mean, you don't have to kill them. You can just leave them alone if you want. So I mean, there's not too much of an incentive to actually try and kill the quad runners here, unless you want a very high score, which I guess I can understand. Yeah, and on this grassy terrain right here, all of the water puddles become oil slicks. That's another thing. Yeah, so that the palette color just changes entirely. Oh god, okay, actually maybe it doesn't, because they were still oil slicks there, even though we're now in like a snowy area. Yeah, so this is where the ice physics are starting to become a real pain. Oh god, the orbs as well. The orbs! I can also make the quad runners collide with the orbs too, which is the interesting thing. Oh god. Okay, get out of my way, boys. I don't even want to deal with you right now. I just want to get to the pretty woman with the dagger who looks like she could very easily, like, stab me in a heartbeat. I'm just trying to get to her. I don't even care about you imbeciles over here. Also, I'm pretty sure you should have gotten killed by those rocks. Oh, there we go. Now you did. Now you got killed by him. Get the frig out of here. Get the frack out of here. There we go. Very nice indeed. So, now that we've beaten the last sector of the first playthrough, her full portrait is gonna get revealed. And there she is, in all her glory. And that's all you get to see of her, then the game just resets. So now we're on to the second playthrough right here. I guess because I haven't really been playing this for that long, maybe I will actually try doing a playthrough of the second quest right here. But the game almost acts as if you reset it, because it just gives you the same, like, the same exposition that it did at the start of the first playthrough. But you'll notice that there's white orbs now. I just got completely eviscerated by one. Yeah, maybe we'll, like, we'll do a quick playthrough of the second quest, I think, and then after that we'll probably end this off. Well, I won't end it off, immediately. Also, these oil drums, they don't kill you if you collide with them, but, yeah, they will definitely trip you up, so you definitely wanna try and destroy them. But I'm not gonna end my playthrough of Mach Rider immediately, because the NES version of Mach Rider has 4 different modes. There's the fighting course, which is what we're playing right now, but there's also another game mode called Endurance Course. So the Endurance Course is basically a game mode where you have to try and get to the next destination within a certain time limit. But unlike the Fighting Course, the Endurance Course does not give you the option to select your track at the beginning of each sector, so it kind of forces you to follow a linear path because of that. I don't really like the Endurance mode as much as Fighter Course, or Fighter Mode, or whatever the heck you want to call it. I really like this Fighter Mode just because of the fact that the level progression is non-linear, and you can kind of just choose your path through the entire game, pretty much. Keep in mind, though, that the actual courses that you get in the next sector does not depend on which courses you chose in the previous sector, or which course you chose, I should say. Like, it doesn't matter if you select track A or B, it won't affect the next courses that you encounter in the next sector. You'll always wind up with the same courses, regardless of which path you take, basically. But I do like how they at least give you the option to select your track at the beginning of each level. I like that it gives you that decision. It almost kind of reminds me of Outrun to some degree, except that this game actually predates Outrun by a couple of years, which makes it even more innovative. Well, actually, I don't think it predates Outrun by that much, because when did Outrun come out? Like 86 or 87? So Mach Rider came out in 85? So, I mean, it doesn't predate the game by that much. I think it actually predates the game by only 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm pretty sure Outrun came out in 86. Again, please let me know if I'm wrong, because I don't fully remember. There we go. We got through that at the very least. Yeah, not in one piece, because I lost Mach Rider numerous times. During that particular fight, I think I am going to go to the A course right here. Yeah, I got that figure 8 loop in the middle of the track, which I'm very interested to see how that plays out. I've actually played through all 40 tracks of the game already. I wanted to try and see just how long it would take to do an entire, like, 100% playthrough of Mach Rider, like, trying to play through all 40 tracks, and as it turns out, you need to play Mach Rider at least 4 times, like you need to do 4 full playthroughs of this game in order to see all 40 tracks, and it doesn't take that long. It only takes maybe about 45 to 50 minutes to get through every single track in the game, but that's still pretty long, so I think what I'm going to do is that I am going to end my playthrough of the fighter course after the end of this second quest right here. Then after that, we'll show off the endurance course, and then we'll move on to the next game in this video. So that's gonna be our game plan, pretty much. But for now, we're just gonna keep on riding here. We're just gonna keep on riding at Mach speeds. Oh my god, dude, come on, for goodness sakes. You may have also noticed that this game does kind of play in a similar manner as F-Zero to some degree. And the thing is, Mach Rider could also be considered like a spiritual predecessor of sorts to F-Zero, because it kind of has the same, kind of similar mechanics as the F-Zero series, where, you know, you're racing at breakneck speeds, and also the racing itself is very aggressive, because you're trying to bump other opponents out of the way. You know, F-Zero doesn't really have the same sort of combat that Mach Rider does, because in most of the F-Zero games, none of the vehicles have— oh my god, dude. In most F-Zero games, none of the vehicles have machine guns or turrets mounted onto them that allow you to shoot down the other opponents. However, you can eliminate opponents from the race entirely if you manage to knock them off the course, so you just eliminate them from the race completely. I guess kinda similar to this, except everything just dies in like one hit pretty much, if you manage to ram it into a wall or a barrel of some sort. Well, I mean, there aren't really walls in this game necessarily, but there are obstacles that you can, you know, that you can push the quad rudders into and they'll die instantly. They'll basically blow up. You know, they just blow up right in your face, and sometimes you can make them explode by simply colliding with them. Oh god, okay, I didn't realize I had no riders left. Maybe the reason they're blowing up is because they're hitting these like spike strip type objects on the road here. I'm not really even sure. I'm not sure what causes it exactly. Maybe it is because they're colliding with those objects in particular, but I would not know. I honestly would not know. I'm pretty sure you should have gotten blown up by that red orb. Okay, you got blown up by that one though. Got blown up by that one. Go away. There. Thank you. Very much. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Don't know how I'd survived any of that. There we go. Get out of here, for goodness sakes. Get the frig out of Dodge. Very nice indeed. So you'll also notice that we're just creating the exact same portrait of the woman that we were before, except this time her palette colors are different. She's wearing a blue outfit now, and also her skin color has changed very slightly. She looks even more pale than she did before. Yeah, she somehow manages to look even more sickly than she did in the first the first portrait. I don't even know. I have no clue why she's even there. Again, this doesn't exist in the NES port. And for the record, the NES version of Mach Rider is the original version, because this was an NES game that was later ported to arcades. Just keep that in mind. I also find it kind of ironic, too, because it's like, Nintendo has no problem adding a scantily clad woman into one of their arcade games, but it's like, they had such a strict censorship policy with the NES, because you couldn't have any sort of, like, violent imagery or sexual content or even religious imagery of any sort on the NES way back in the day, because Nintendo were very strict about having that sort of content within games that are being released on their platform or that were being released. But no, they themselves add a scantily clad woman into one of their arcade games. Yeah, they bring one of their own NES games to the arcades and they add, you know, like a half-naked woman into them. It's like, I don't know, it just seems a little hypocritical to me. Yeah, go to the A track again, because some of these level designs just look incredibly ridiculous. Some of these track designs. What is also interesting is that the NES port did have a level editor, much like Excitebike. In the NES version of Mach Rider, you were able to create your own tracks, and you could race on them. The only problem is that if you were playing the North American version of the game, or the European version for that matter, you cannot save your tracks. Because in order to save your tracks in the Japanese version of the game, you needed to have a first-party add-on for the Famicom called the Famicom Data Recorder. And the Famicom Data Recorder was an add-on that was created by Nintendo themselves, which allowed you to save custom tracks onto a cassette tape. Indeed, saving game data onto a cassette tape, because I mean, that was a very popular way of storing video game data back in the 80s. I mean, even the ZX Spectrum did that. But yeah, you could basically store all of your custom Mach Rider and Excitebike tracks on a cassette tape, because it was also compatible with Excitebike. Not many games used the periphery, though, and because the periphery was never released outside of Japan, you cannot save custom tracks in the North American or European versions of Mach Rider or Excitebike, for that matter. However, this game was re-released on the Wii Virtual Console, and also the Wii U Virtual Console, and the 3DS Virtual Console as well. And in the Wii and Wii U versions of this game, the Famicom Data Recorder functionality was restored, because those re-releases of Mach Rider do allow you to save custom tracks directly to the system's memory. The 3DS version does not allow you to do that, for one reason or another, but it's still kind of cool how they did actually, like, you know, they restored that functionality to the game, so North American players could finally, I guess they could finally, experience what it was like to be able to record, or I guess to save custom tracks on, like, really old games like this. I guess? I'm not really even sure, but yeah, it was a feature that they did decide to bring back in subsequent re-releases of Mach Rider. Of course, the Wii Virtual Console version is no longer available for purchase due to the fact that the Wii shopping channel doesn't exist anymore, but I'm pretty sure the Wii U and 3DS versions of the game still exist, and if I can find links to them, I will provide them in the description of the video, you know, if you want to purchase the 3DS or Wii U version of this game. Mach Rider has not been re-released on any subsequent Nintendo platform. I don't think it's even been re-released on the Nintendo Switch, though, because I know that Nintendo Switch Online subscribers can get access to a certain selection of classic NES games. I don't believe Mach Rider is one of them, though, and I also don't think Mach Rider was featured on the NES Classic either, so you wouldn't be able to play it on that system either. So yeah, you don't really have that many options to purchase this game on different platforms. You only really have the Wii U and 3DS, and of course the original NES, if you can find a physical cartridge of the game somewhere. Which again, I'm not entirely sure how rare this game is, so not entirely sure what the asking price for this game currently is, though. I honestly have no idea. But yeah, there's just a lot of, like, really interesting trivia regarding this game. I mean, it didn't even originally begin as a video game. It began as a relatively obscure toy line that was also made by Nintendo back in the early 70s and was later adapted into a video game in the mid-80s, although with a completely different tone. Yeah, Nintendo were not exactly trying to be family-friendly with the Mach Rider reboot, I guess you could say. I don't know if you could even consider this a reboot or not, but yeah, it's an interesting game. Plays very similar to Hang On, like if Hang On had vehicular combat, but I don't know, man. This game is kind of all over the place. Anyway, we finished the portrait of the other woman there, who was holding a blue dagger that time. Yeah, so that's all I really have to say about the fighter course in Mach Rider. So I think now we are going to move over to the endurance course, and I think I'm only going to show off one level in the endurance course, because there isn't really that much to say about it. There was also a fourth mode in the NES version of Mach Rider called Solo Course, which is essentially identical to endurance course, except there's no enemies on the road. Yep, so it's just you and the road and some of the obstacles that are also scattered across the road that you still need to try and avoid, otherwise you risk getting killed. So real quickly, we're gonna show off endurance mode, and then after that, we're probably gonna go to the next game in this video. Right, so I now have the endurance version of the game queued up right here. I'm just gonna, well, I mean, I don't even really need this many credits, but I do want to show off what exactly this looks like. So round 1, go 20 kilometers within a time limit of 280 seconds. So, as you can see, we have a time limit right here. We can still kill the other quad runners on the screen, though, because we still have our machine gun. But what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to get to the next track within a limited amount of time. So we don't have any lives, for the record. We actually have infinite lives in this mode, but we have to try and complete the track within a certain time period. And actually, the additional credits are not going to matter, because if I do end up running out of time in any of these courses, I won't be able to restart them by adding another credit into the machine. Like, once I run out of time, that's it. I'm done for good. So it's not even gonna matter, actually. Those 10 credits that I gave myself are not gonna matter whatsoever. So we're gonna just try to complete the track here. Hang on a second, I gotta go back into the lower gears. There we go. We can also just completely avoid the quad runners if we want. I mean, we can destroy quad runners in order to get bonus points at the very end of the level. And the amount... Okay, I thought that was the end right there. Actually, no, I think that is the end. Okay, yeah, because we are coming to a stop, I forgot. Yeah, what's also kind of weird is that the level does not end immediately once you cross the so-called finish line. But yeah, all of the seconds that you had remaining, they get added to your total point score. Yeah, and all the different quad runners that you killed as well. Also, the amount of shots that you had, like the amount of bullets that you had, that also gets added to your score. Yeah, so round 2, go 22 kilometers within a time period of 280. And the amount of kilometers that you have to drive in order to get to the next track, it does increase as the game goes on. So you're gonna have to cover a lot more distance once you make it into the much later levels. Also, I have no idea what this color palette is, but it's just, I don't know how to feel about it. Oh my god, get the quad runners out of here. Yeah, and for the record, the more difficult quad runners that you end up shooting down, those will award you more bonus points on the telly screen, so just keep that in mind. Ow. Jeez, I really need to get a lot better at avoiding these oil slicks, for goodness sakes. But I mean, look how fast this is going, dude. I mean, look at this. This is basically like F-Zero. You can barely control the freaking motorbike here. I know that I could just slow down and, like, go to a lower gear in some of the tighter turns, but what's the fun in that? I want to go freaking fast, man. I just want to go fast like Sonic. I want to go fast like Sonic, so I'm just gonna kick it into overdrive as often as I possibly can. There, I'm only encountering pink quad runners right now. What the world is going on? Here we go. There we go. That's good. That's very good. I think we're almost at the end. Oh god. Okay, wait a second. We came to like a complete standstill. Hang on. That's not acceptable. There we go. Pick up some speed. Pick up some speed. There we go. We're at the end. There, we're just coming to a complete stop. We won't be able to catch up with that guy because we do stop automatically after a few seconds. There we go. We did manage to beat that course. So then, what is our tally screen right here? Okay, so we actually managed to destroy 9 of these guys. I am very surprised. We still had 62 bullets left. Round 3, go 23 kilometers within a time limit of 270. Yeah, so this will probably be the very last level that I show off, because that's all there is to say about the endurance course. So, yeah, you just have a time limit, basically, and it's a lot more linear than the fighter course, because it doesn't give you the option to select between a track A or a track B at the beginning of the level. Also, I have no idea how that barrel did not kill me. I know how that barrel killed me, though. I know exactly how that barrel murdered my ballsack. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. Oh my god, I can't do this. Yeah, so there's not really too much to say about Endurance Course other than that. One thing that I can also talk about regarding the design mode, which is the level editor of Mach Rider, any of the levels that you create in the design mode can be played in any of the 3 main game modes in the NES version of Mach Rider, including the Endurance Course, the Solo Course, and even the Fighter Course. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, it is kind of similar to Excite Bike, because in the 2 game modes that are available in Excite Bike, all of your custom tracks can be played on both game modes, whether it be Game Mode A or Game Mode B. So you can race either by yourself or with other, with other computer opponents or whatnot. So I find that to be pretty interesting. Mach Rider is one of the earlier examples of not only a vehicular combat game, but also a racing game with a level editor. Well, maybe this is not a racing game necessarily, but it's a driving game for absolute sure, so... Yeah, round 4, go 28 kilometers within a time limit of 300 seconds, but... Oh god, what is this, what is this palette color with the freaking orange and purple? Oh god, that doesn't look good at all. Orange and purple are not colors that mix together very well. Yuck. God, get it off my screen. Yeah, I don't have too much else to say about this game mode of Mach Rider here. Also, if you are playing this on the MAME emulator, you can press F3 to restart the entire machine. So if you just want to go back to the main menu prematurely, you can do that. And actually, just out of curiosity, what are some of the dip switches in this machine in particular? So 1 coin, 1 credit. Oh, we do have free play. Okay, so I could have also enabled that, but, I mean, Could have also shown you how exactly the game would have been presented in the arcades. Time limit 280, 250, 220, 200. So you can actually configure this. Apparently 280 is the easiest mode. Okay. Unknown. Okay, don't know what that is. Unknown, also don't know what that is. Oh, you can select between less enemies or more enemies. Okay, wait a second. I'm kind of curious as to what this looks like, actually. Just give me a moment. I wanna test something out here. Okay, wait. I think I'm gonna have to. I think what I have to do is that I have to change the dip switches and then restart the machine. This should work now. Okay, yeah. Time limit of 200. Okay, so how many enemies are there on the screen now, though? Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's too much of a difference in the amount of enemies. Just looks like we have the same number of enemies here. Yeah, I'm not noticing like an increase in enemies all that much. Well, I don't really know. I guess it kind of seems like there's maybe a couple more enemies on the screen, but it doesn't seem to be like that much of a difference. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know, honestly. Oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to complete the track in 200 seconds like this. No, forget that nonsense. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't show off the design mode or the solo course either, because those two modes are not in the arcade version of the game. So unfortunately, I won't be able to show those modes off, but other than that, I think that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to Mach Rider, guys. One of Nintendo's lesser-known titles, definitely not as obscure as Radar Scope, though, because unlike with Radar Scope, Nintendo seems to at least acknowledge Mach Rider's existence from time to time, usually whenever they sneak him into Super Smash Bros. In some way, shape, or form, whether it be as a collectible trophy, a sticker, or spirit, or even remixed music from the game. So it's an interesting little game, to say the least. It's kinda like a combination of F-Zero and Hang-On and Pole Position, kinda like a hybrid of all those three games, pretty much. I mean, this game was pretty much the precursor to F-Zero for the most part. In fact, the remixed Mach Rider music that was made for Super Smash Bros. Can usually be heard on some of the F-Zero stages, which suggests that there may be some sort of tie between the two franchises, although that's just pure speculation. Nintendo has never stated publicly whether or not F-Zero and Mach Rider are related to one another. Who knows, maybe Mach Rider even takes place in the same universe as F-Zero. I don't freaking know! But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see where exactly this obscure Nintendo character originated, because when I first saw Mach Rider in Super Smash Bros. Crusade, I had no clue who the hell he was. I thought it was like some sort of fan-made character that was created specifically for the game, but as it turns out, no. Mach Rider is an actual character that Nintendo made at one point, and at an even earlier point, it was an actual toy line that Nintendo released. So yeah, just some interesting trivia and history behind a game that I have been very curious about, like genuinely curious about for the past 7 years now. Again, Mach Rider has made appearances in some of my older videos, including Super Smash Bros. Crusade, so I guess this is pretty much my way of bringing him back to the channel? I don't really know, but that's pretty much all I have to say about Mach Rider. The game is available on the Wii U and 3DS Virtual Consoles. If you want to download it for those systems, I will try to find the links and provide them in the description. But other than that, we're done with this game now, so let's move on to the next one. So the next game we have here is called Juno First, and I did name drop this game in my Galaxian and Radar Scope double feature from a few months ago. So Juno First is a vertically scrolling shoot-'em-up created by Konami all the way back in 1983. As I mentioned before, Juno First has a very similar perspective as Radar Scope. The entire game is presented in a slightly tilted perspective, which kinda gives off the illusion of 3 dimensions, even though the game is actually in 2D. Unlike Radar Scope, however, this is not a fixed shooter because your ship can move anywhere on the screen. Also, the enemies do not attack in a formation. Every single enemy moves around on their own, and by that I mean they're constantly roaming around on the playing field. The objective of Juno First is very simple. You just need to kill every single enemy on the playing field in order to advance to the next level. And there's not that many levels in Juno First. There's only about 16 of them. The game does not actually end after the 16th level, however, it'll just keep cycling through the same 16 levels over and over again, at least until you get to level 256, because I imagine by that point the counter would probably roll over and the entire game would just break completely. I don't know that for sure because I didn't try that off screen, but I imagine that's what would happen. But all in all, it's a pretty fun and frenetic shoot-'em-up that presents a neat little take on the whole Space Invaders formula, even though it is taking cues from Nintendo's own radar scope, as I mentioned before, you know, with the whole slanted pseudo 3D perspective and everything. It was one of Konami's earliest attempts at creating a shoot-'em-up, even though they do have at least one other example of a shoot-'em-up that they made long before this, or, well, not long before this, but a couple of years prior, which I may show off in a future retro-themed double feature, but probably not for a while. I don't want these retro-themed double features to become too commonplace on my channel. So we are gonna get started here. There is one little thing that I need to change first. Yeah, this cheat right here I don't want on, just for now. I am gonna at least set this to 5 lives. The default setting is 3, but Juno first is very difficult, so I would rather give myself, you know, maybe a couple of extra lives, just to make it a little bit easier on myself. I don't know if I'm gonna show off this cheat later on. I might not, but yeah, just keep it to 5 for now. We're gonna reset this very quickly. Yeah, you can also change the difficulty of the game, by the way. Keep in mind that I have this set to the easiest difficulty possible, and you can set this all the way up to a difficulty of 8, which is the hardest. Okay, just keep in mind, the gameplay you're about to see is being played on the easiest difficulty in the game. Yeah, so press start, 1 player only, bonus ship every 100,000 points. So let's freaking do it, boys. Here we go. This is just player 1, so this has a slightly different control scheme than Mach Rider, though. So there is a button that you can use to fire— oh god, that is a very fast-moving bullet. Yeah, but there's a button on your keyboard if you're playing this on an emulator that you can use to fire bullets of your own. In this case, it's the control key. So, what we gotta do here is that we just have to kill all of the enemies that you see on the screen right here, and once we manage to annihilate every single one of them, then we'll move on to the next level. So, what I just did there is that I destroyed an asteroid, and there was a little person that popped out of it, and I managed to collect that little person. And when you do manage to collect that little mystery guy, because you might have noticed that it did actually show what exactly that thing was on the main menu, when it's showing you, like, the different enemy types that you'll be encountering in the game. So essentially what he does is that he kind of acts like the power pellets from Pac-Man. So when you manage to collect a little guy out of these asteroids, it will cause all of the enemies within the vicinity to start scattering. And I just got killed right there because I didn't move out of the way of that bullet in time. But yeah, when you manage to collect a little guy from the asteroids, all of the enemies on screen will begin to scatter, and they will also stop firing at you momentarily. So essentially what happens is that they end up getting scared and they just start running off. And you'll also notice that every single time you kill an enemy when you're under the influence of the mystery person, you will also earn more points the more enemies you manage to kill during that time period. So you get an additional 200 points for every single enemy that you manage to destroy within, you know, for as long as that special power-up is active for, essentially. So I'm already on the 3rd wave right here. I do believe this is the last guy right here. Yeah, it is, actually. There we go. So we're already about 1/3 of the way through the game, almost. Well, actually, no, not 1/3, 1/4, because I said there's 16 levels. So this right here, yeah, this is something I also need to mention. So you'll notice that some of these enemies will also fire a different type of bullet. Now, I'm not entirely sure what these bullets are called, but I'm just going to refer to them as star bullets for now, just because it's, you know, it's a lot easier, and they do kind of look like little stars. So what these little star bullets are is that they're essentially like homing missiles. They will try to track you down, but thankfully you can kind of fool them into, well, I mean, you can kind of like throw them— okay, well, I can't throw them off track if I'm getting destroyed by bullets, but you can effectively throw them off track— oh my god, dude, come on. You can throw them off track by suddenly accelerating and then slowing down and then moving in the other direction. So you can kind of fool them that way, because they're not really the best at tracking you, not necessarily. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, and another thing that I should also show off here is that you have something called war-ups. So in each individual level, you have 3 different war-ups that you can use, and the war-ups are, I guess, kind of similar to the hyper drives or whatever, or kind of like the war-ups from Defender. That's the best way I can describe them. And you can use the war-ups in order to destroy large clusters of star bullets immediately. You can also kill the star bullets by simply shooting at them with your own bullets. Also, keep in mind that the star bullets can sometimes fire bullets of their own, which is especially daunting. This game does get very difficult, like, extremely quickly. I mean, look at how fast this is ramping up right here. There we go. Yeah, keep in mind that you can't spam your war-ups forever, because you only earn 3 war-ups per level. So, use them wisely, because, yeah, you don't get that many of them to use, so I can show this off right here. There we go. See how I was able to erase all of them? Because I would have gotten killed by them if I didn't do that. Oh god, star bullet, please. Yeah, you also have to kill the enemies very quickly on the screen, too, because if you leave the enemies alone for too long, they will start mutating into more powerful enemies. You do not want that, okay? Because when they mutate into UFOs, when these little spaceships start mutating into, like, the purple UFOs, they become almost impossible to kill. So, take them out quickly and swiftly, even though those two words mean the exact same thing. It also seems like every 3 levels you get almost this sort of like challenge level where the enemies do attack you in a very specific formation. Oh my god! These star bullets are moving so freaking fast. What in the world? Oh god. Yeah, and another thing is that sometimes the war-ups can be a little bit trolly, because I've had instances where I've actually, I've actually war-upped and I ended up, reforming directly into a bullet, so the bullet ended up killing me either way. Can I, like, murder this guy, please? Oh my god. It's literally the last guy on the screen. Please. Keep in mind as well that you also have a time limit, so you have to try and beat all of these levels within the time limit as well. Not just with the amount of lives that you currently have, but yeah. It can be very difficult at times. I'm not trying to complete the entirety of the game, though. I'm definitely not going to attempt to do that. Yeah, there we go. So you can just kind of erase them immediately. Yeah, but then they start firing more bullets at you. Also, I'm pretty sure that one of the enemies just turned invisible. Because where were those star bullets coming from? They were just, like, manifesting out of thin air. Here, I gotta kill the mystery guy. There we go, 3,200 points. Let's cause some annihilation in the neighborhood. There we go. There we go, that's some pretty good annihilation. That's good enough. Yeah, I'm very close to getting an extra life. I don't think I'm gonna be able to, because this 2 UFO is on my ass. Oh! There we go. Gotta get that good avoid. Okay, 3 UFOs, never mind. Never mind, I'm dead. I think I'm dead. Oh god, how am I not dead? Holy crap, boys and girls. Okay, I'm gonna be dead in just a minute. Yeah, you gotta, like, again, just move and shoot, and pretty much nothing will ever kill you. Oh god. How did I even survive that? Okay, okay. Listen here, boys and... Okay, well, I'm not gonna survive this. No. Oh my god. Never mind, I survived it. And did I get an extra life for that? I sure did. Okay, wow. I don't even know how in the world that happened, but alright, I'll take it. Take it for now. Yeah, so we're already at, like, the halfway point. Okay. That star bullet kind of knew where I was going to move towards. Kind of determined my, my exact trajectory there, but that's okay. That's okay. This is actually not alright. Okay, this is no longer alright. No, I hate this. I actually don't like this. This makes me very uncomfortable. Please don't do this. Okay. Well, you did it. You did it anyway, even though I told you not to. Great. Okay, well, I'll enter my initials then. I think it's RBK, right, for Robotnik? Yeah. Sure. Wait. How do I do this again? Control? Okay, yeah, it is control. At least it doesn't give you a time limit in the initial entering screen. There we go, you can take your sweet time with this. But yeah, that's really all there is to say about Juno First in particular. I guess I could try playing the game at least one more time here, but yeah, I just wanted to include this game in the video as well, because this one is even more basic than Mach Rider. I know that I spent a lot of time just playing Mach Rider today in particular, but I really wanted to show this game off very quickly at the end of the video, because I still think this is actually a pretty neat little arcade game. Oh, wow. I almost got destroyed by that. But yeah, I still think this is a pretty neat little arcade game. I discovered Juno First initially about 3 years ago, I think. And if I remember correctly, I think I discovered this game through a World of Long Plays video. Like, if you guys know the YouTube channel World of Long Plays, where they basically, you know, they post, like, long plays of various types of games. You know, all sorts of games, whether it be arcade, or NES, or SNES, or Genesis. I saw the bullet coming, but I couldn't react quickly enough. I even saw it coming in my peripheral vision, but yeah, I even joked at one point that my channel was basically becoming a long play channel because of, you know, the extreme length of some of the videos that I was beginning to upload. Wow, okay, I, like, saved that at the very last second. Holy crap, man. But yeah, I initially discovered this game through a World of Long Plays video, and ever since then, I had been meaning to try and do a video on this game for, a little while now. Because it looks like a really neat little, little arcade shooter. I'm kind of sad that it's not as fondly remembered as some of Konami's other shoot-em-ups like Gradius, or even Twinbee for all the Japanese fans out there, all you Japanese Konami fans. Because, I mean, Twinbee is definitely a lot more well-known in Japan than it is in North America, even though some of the games are available over here now. In fact, there was actually a Twinbee game that did make its way over to Nintendo Switch Online very recently. Yeah, it was playable for the first time ever here in North America. Oh god, wait, the little guy. Please? Ah, damn it, he exploded right before I got him. Okay, yeah, that's another thing you need to take into account, because if you leave him alone for too long, he will blow up. So, grab him as soon as you can. Oh, lord. Oh, wow, okay, what is happening at this point? What is even happening? Holy lord. Okay, wait. There we go. There, get those swift movements. Okay, well, that movement was not swift enough for that bullet. My goodness, man. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore at this point. I'm not even trying. Not even trying, but you can also see the current position of some of the other enemies, like over on the near the top of the screen, like before they enter. Okay, this is not going to work out. He's moving way too fast. Yeah, so as you can see, they disappear at the bottom of the screen and then they appear at the top. And you can pretty much button mash as much as you want, because you have infinite ammunition. And yeah, the game pretty much allows you to button mash as quick as you possibly can. It's not always useful, though. You kind of have to be, you know, a little bit strategic. Oh my god. Whenever the star bullets start firing their own bullets at me, that's like... Oh god. Please don't. Please don't, sir. Oh, wow, okay. I thought for sure I was gonna, like, collide with that bullet right there. Oh no, please. Please, everything's getting out of control now. Everything is beyond my control. Do I get more war-ups whenever I... Okay, no. I don't get more war-ups when I respawn, so I have to beat the level first. Yeah, see how fast this guy moves? But then I can't get out of the way of his bullets in time. Oh, that was actually my last life. I didn't think it was for some reason. Okay, I don't care about my initial entering. Can I just, like, try and play this one last time here? But yeah, it is kind of unfortunate that this shoot-em-up is not as remembered as fondly as some of Konami's other shoot-em-ups, like Gradius or Twinbee or whatever the heck. I mean, what other shoot-em-ups did Konami make? I mean, Scramble, which is actually the other game that I was talking about before, the one that predates Juno first by a couple of years. I'm legitimately thinking about doing a video on Scramble at some point in the future. I don't know, we'll see. I'm thinking about including it in one of my future double feature videos, like a retro-themed double feature. That probably won't happen for a little while, though, because, like I mentioned before, I don't want the retro-themed double features to happen too often on the channel, because I don't want to, like... I don't want every one of my double feature videos to be retro-themed. I want to try and cover some more recent games in the series as well, like more recent indie stuff that's been coming out as of late. But yeah, this game is pretty neat for what it is, and surprisingly it works very well here in the MAME emulator. Works a lot better than freaking, what is its name? Radar Scope? Yeah. Also, you need to destroy the asteroid very quickly, too. The asteroid that's containing the Mystery Man, the Mystery Rainbow guy. Because that, too, will also blow up if you leave it alone for too long. Okay, wow. It just, like, manifested out of thin air. There we go. Now I have it, so I can just destroy the rest of them. There we go. Yeah, they stop firing bullets at you, and then they just start to retreat. But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else to say regarding Juno First. That's pretty much the entirety of the game. I'm just playing through the exact same levels over and over again, so I think this is a good stopping point for now. Okay, yeah, they will begin to fire bullets at you if you leave them alone for too long. Oh my god. Here, go down here and try to kill some of them. My goodness. This guy's just staying put all the way at the top. Yeah, you earn more bonus points depending on how much time you have remaining. So, if you complete the levels a lot quicker, you get even more bonus points. Oh god. when the star bullets just start accelerating like this, yeah, there we go. Throw them off. Just throw them off just like that. Throw off your trajectory. I'm having a hard time saying words right now. Ow. Yeah, I don't really have anything more to say regarding this, guys. That's pretty much everything I have to say about Juno first. Also, you may notice that the palette color of the ship changes every single time you beat a level, because now the ship is purple. I think it was like blue and then orange in some of the previous levels, I believe. Yeah, and also, you can erase some of those star bullets by simply having them disappear off the bottom of the screen. That's also a way that you can just get rid of them entirely. You don't have to destroy them outright. But, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say regarding that. Okay, I'm pretty sure that should have killed him, but... yeah, colliding with enemies is not a great way to destroy them, because I don't think it actually kills them. No, you gotta destroy them with actual bullets. Oh, come on, dude. See, what's also a pain in the behind is when, like, you get so close to hitting an enemy with one of your own bullets, and then it, like, morphs into a more powerful ship, and then it just starts moving all over the damn place. Oh my goodness. So annoying, so incredibly frustrating. Apparently this can get a lot more difficult. I have no idea how, but I'm kind of curious to see how exactly this gameplay is at, you know, difficulty setting of 8. Which, you know what, maybe I will die on purpose here just to try that out. Yeah, you know what, I think I actually will. So how about we just die for now? Okay, there we go, game over player 1. And then what I would like to do, yeah, set this to 8, all the way up to 8, restart the emulator, or, like, restart the game, and then, oh god, what is this gonna be? How difficult is this gonna be, exactly? Okay, well, it doesn't seem to be that much more difficult. Okay, wait, I don't think that enemy was there before, was it? Oh god, they are shifting into different enemies, or do they do that normally? Okay, maybe they don't, because I don't remember, oh my god, yeah. They are morphing into more powerful enemies a lot more quickly. That's what's happening. Oh god, okay, I better take care of this very quickly then. Yeah, other than that, I have nothing more to say. I know I keep repeating that over and over, but I really do not have anything else left to say about Juno first. I just wanted to see how much more difficult the game would be on the hardest difficulty, and it seems like it seems like they just morph into yeah, into the more powerful enemies a lot more quickly. I think that's the difference between the normal difficulty, or the easiest difficulty, technically, and the harder difficulty. I think that's the only actual difference, though. Pretty sure. Doesn't seem like there's anything else that's really too different about this. Yeah, they're all... oh my god, dude, almost all of them are green now. What in the world? What is this? Yeah, they shapeshift into more powerful enemies a lot more quickly. That seems to be the only difference with them, though, so... yeah, I've got nothing more to say about this, so I think I am just gonna just die on purpose here. So, yeah, I think, other than that, guys, I'm gonna end this video here. So, that is Mach Rider and Juno first. Just a couple of really interesting arcade games, even though, again, Mach Rider was not originally an arcade title, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to do another retro-themed double feature this time around, because I kind of feel like it has been a little while since the last one I did, because the last one I did was Galaxian and Radar Scope back in December of last year. But these are not going to happen too often. I can already tell you that April's double feature is not going to be retro-themed. I'm going to try to find some more recent stuff that came out on either Steam or itch.io, or even the Epic Game Store. I mean, you never know. I could try searching for stuff on Epic as well. I mean, Epic have been giving so many free games away recently that, you know, there's a lot of stuff to sift through on the Epic Game Store as well, or there's starting to become a lot of stuff that we can potentially sift through, or that we could sift through for potential videos, is what I'm trying to say. There's still a lot of free games that I picked up from the Epic Game Store during the holidays that I still haven't gotten around to doing videos on yet, so I really have to get on that soon, because Epic gave away like 12 free games during the holidays last year. Not all of them piqued my interest, but some of them did, and I really want to try and do videos on them at some point in the future, so I really need to try and get on that soon. There's a couple of new free games that are going to be going live on the Epic Store by tomorrow at the time I'm recording this. They probably will have already gone live by the time this video goes live on my channel, so I've still got some ideas for absolute sure. So April's double feature is going to be, it's going to focus on more modern games. It's still probably going to focus mostly on, like, niche indie titles, though, which, I mean, that's been, like, the entire bread and butter of my channel for the past 9 years, so it's not that out of character for me and my style of content. So, again, if you want to purchase Mach Rider, there are virtual console re-releases of the game for the Wii U and 3DS. There was a Wii Virtual Console version at one point, but it's no longer longer available due to the fact that the Wii shopping channel doesn't exist anymore. And as for Juno First, I'm not sure if Konami ever re-released Juno First in any capacity. I'm not sure if they've ever featured the game in any of their own compilations, if Konami have ever released any retro compilations of their own. So I mean, the easiest option, and possibly the only option, is to just find a ROM of the game online and just play it through Mayhem. I'm not going to provide the link to that in my own description though, you can just go and find that for yourselves, because I'm not willing to get sued anytime soon. I do not have the required capital to fight back against that. I mean, in all fairness, I don't really have the required capital to fight back against COPPA either, if they ever decide that my videos are actually for kids, despite the language that I tend to use in my videos. But I mean, it's been like 2.5 months ever since that policy was enforced on YouTube, and I mean, I turned out okay so far, or my channel has. Haven't gotten sued yet, but we'll see in due time. Anyway, I'm gonna leave things here for now, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Later!